My experience of policy engagement work has been initially a little bit of consultancy work in the private sector, but then really predominantly via a UCL public policy placement scheme, 6 months in the Government Office for Science and their foresight team, and then I stayed there another 2 years, and now I work full-time at UCL in a public policy analysis type role, where I do research directly in partnership with policy partners. The value of policy engagement work inevitably will be very much dependent on the individual and the institution, but a shared connecting thread between all of it is that no matter where we work, I really think public policy is the platform on which we all work together to try and improve the lives, the conditions for people now and into the future. Some of the top challenges in working in the policy engagement space are first that I think it is challenging to have empathy or to really understand the real conditions in which our policy partners are working and to try and be sensitive to those. And another is to really have clarity together about what the purposes of what we're trying to do. What really is the nature of this policy problem that we're working on? That question is so difficult and probably the deepest challenge I think that we have in doing policy engagement work. My 5 tips for doing policy engagement work. First, have empathy with your policy partner. The second is have humility when you're doing policy engagement and don't presume that you have the answers. The third would be to really see it as a relationship that is never finished. There is no destination. It is an ever ongoing relationship that you are working on. The fourth is to be sensitive to the type of learning that you can contribute into a process. And finally, to always be mindful of the more wider reflexivity that you're supporting. What are we doing here? Why? And how might we do it better? There are at least 2 things I would like to see more of, especially in academia when we talk about policy engagement. The first is more work on the practical realities of doing policy engagement. What do we do? How? Why? What works? And the second is actually it's about a mentality, to not see it as a them and us or 2 sides, but more as a collective of people working on something together who just happen to be employed in different types of environments. My tips for anyone wanting to work in the policy analysis field would be, first and foremost, to just focus on doing something well. When you're at university and you're being invited into that process, make sure that what you do well. The second would be to always strive to find a way to improve something, no matter how small. Is there a place where you can better support or improve something?